Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for July 25th through August 1st of 2017. I use the Osho Zen Tarot. Welcome, and thank you so much for subscribing. Every week I have more and more subscribers, and I'm so excited and so thrilled and so grateful for it. Please do tell your friends. Hook them up, turn them on to this channel if you feel any of the information, the readings, the insight on Reiki, the guided meditations would really serve them. I so appreciate it. It would be so exciting to hit 1,000 subscribers by the new year. That would be awesome. As you know, if you follow me, I'm going to be releasing my book, The Reiki Apprentice, this fall. I'm going to have free giveaways and all sorts of interesting interactive platforms for us to connect on. So do subscribe so you can stay attuned to that. So let's go ahead and get started with our reading this week. And we're going to take a moment, take a breath, shuffle the cards, connect with our higher selves, and ask for the most high, most light-filled, love-filled, divine guidance to support us, to be illumined through me, through this reading for all of us, myself included. We call in our angels, our guides, all those light beings that are here to help serve and hold space in opening the way of wisdom, of divine illumination for anyone and everyone that is guided to watch either a portion or all of this reading this week, July 25th through August 1st of 2017. We're going to give it just a little bit more of a shuffle. It doesn't seem like there's any poppers flying out today. So here we go. I'm going to keep my eyes closed. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull 6 cards. I'm going to divide it into 3. So here's the first chunk. I'm going to keep my eyes closed, and I'm going to pull 3 from this deck. Here's the first one. Ooh, intensity. We had that last week. Okay. Here's the second one. The mind. Doo, 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 doo. Okay, the third one, I'm going to take it from down the bottom. Participation. Okay, so that's our first row. And now I'm going to shuffle a little bit more, and then I'm going to divide these into half, and we're going to pull, did I pull 3? I said I was only going to pull two from each. Okay, so I guess it's 3. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take that in half, and I'm going to pull, I'm guided to pull the first one. Receptivity, beautiful. Okay, then I'm going to take one from the middle. The rebel, okay, this was up last week too, and then I'm going to take one here, the source, powerful. Okay, then we're going to take this last, what is left here, I'm going to give it a little shuffle, and again, we're going to pull 3. Okay, so I'm going to pull 1. 2 came out, letting go. What's on the other side? Maturity. We're getting familiar with maturity, aren't we? And then one more, let's see, what card does it want to be? This one. Nothingness. We had that last week. I love how there's a continuation of the story. Okay, so let's see. Let's put these into alignment. So the top row, intensity, receptivity, the mind. The second row, source, participation, the rebel, which we had last week. And then the third row, nothingness, maturity, and letting go. So looking at the top row, we know from last week that intensity was the direction we were heading as we align with the truth in our hearts and as we get over those addictions or those self-sabotaging ways that keep us in a perpetual sort of a holding pattern, right? As all those things become unbound and we allow the true rebel within ourselves to defy the rules of this earth, the rules of this planet that we've been conditioned to think are real, we begin to take off in accelerated ways with the passion and the power of fire, of electricity, of energy that is truly connected to source. And it begins to serve us in moving beyond time and space, beyond the confines of what we think we should know about how the world works, and begins to connect us with our higher self in ways that are new. And even if you're an old school meditator, even if you're a yogi for many years, you know that the practice of a beginner's mind is always where it's at. So there's no end to the practice. The practice continues and it goes on, and it becomes your lifestyle. So not that your lifestyle has to be intense the whole way, but last week we were going through a completion, a completion of one cycle so that new cycles could begin. okay? And last week, all the guidance was about getting out of our own way so that that could happen with as much grace as possible. I will put a link here to last week's energy tool reading if you missed it and if you'd like to watch it. The card right next to intensity is receptivity, which is so powerful. This is a card of water, and look at this. It is so divine feminine. The central channel, the Sushumna, is fully activated. The lines, the Pingala, the Ida, the Kundalini, the Sushumna lines, everything is fully, beautifully activated, illumined. The dots of creation are connected through this feminine aspect of the vehicle. The crown chakra, the lotus petals are opened and awakened. The hands are open to the divine. And look at this, rooted in the waters of emotions and extending out cosmically through the cosmos to the divine light that is, through the stars in the galaxy. So it's interesting, these two cards together show me there's this divine balance that's happening of this masculine, this very powerful, the energy of doing, the energy of manifesting, the energy of creating, like hands-on, like being a shoemaker and you know, hammering the shoe together, the energy of like being a gardener and digging in the earth and using your hands, the energy of being a craft person, an artist. If you're a computer programmer, it's getting in there and actually doing the work, right? Whereas receptivity is the aspect of letting the work be done for you, of just creating the correct conditions within your vehicle, within yourself, mind and body, so that the universe folds around you and creates for you that which is your divine inheritance, that which is your divine and innate path at this time in your life. So what it shows me is this week, July 25th to August 1st, this is about balancing the yin, balancing the yang, balancing your ability to receive, to be receptive, but also to be present and to hit it when you need to hit it. You know, it reminds me in my lessons over time with the masculine and the feminine, and really learning what that meant to me in my life, what I have come to understand is, yes, there is a time to go for the goals. There is a time to like reach for the ring and to like, you know, use all your energy and just go for it. And there's also a time to do nothing and to simply be and to practice being that open, empty channel of stillness so that it can be filled. And what I've learned, the law of least effort and expending the least energy, because remember, if this is all we're doing as well, and we're not taking time to be still, to be open, to connect with a higher source, we're going to burn ourselves out, right? Because that's a card of fire, and we could easily burn ourselves out. And so what it speaks to, and what my lesson has been, is balancing the yin and yang through learning to get over my own ways of being lazy, but also to learn how to be still and quiet and finding the balance point for myself, which changes over time and over periods of growth, but to the point where you have enough battery pack, energy in your battery pack because you're recharging and you know how to replenish and nourish yourself, that when it is time to hit it, you hit it and you score and you're right on the target and boom, that energy just takes off. And it's the law of least effort, because you don't have to hit the nail with the hammer repetitively, and like, it's not getting anywhere. I don't know why it's not happening. It's not happening. It's like, no, it's finding the balance of your inner masculine, of your inner feminine, so that you can be receptive. And when you feel the divine call to go, to do, to act, to be in the masculine, it is that arrow is right on point, and you're in the divine timing of a time and space continuum that is beyond the mental constructs of what you think, and so you hit your target with least effort and with greatest grace. Woo! Okay, so that's where that's what's up for you this week. Now, the card next to these two is the mind. Mind is a card of the clouds, gray. Look at this individual. They are really short-circuiting here. This is what happens when this is not in balance. So that is simply our caution this week, is to, when you become too mind-filled, and it's in last week's tarot reading too, where I speak about the tar body, what happens is the mind begins to become the force that drives your vehicle, that drives your chariot. But if the mind is not attuned with your heart, which is always attuned with the higher self, with source, with God, with love, with light, if it's not in tune with that, you're going to burn yourself out. And you're not going to be able to reach your goals, your joy, your happiness, your healing, whatever it is for you now, in balance. It's not even going to be a possibility, because you're going to be spinning your wheels and burning your energy out in ways that are only of the mind. And there's too much thinking. And again, this is an ongoing theme. There's too much trying to figure things out logically, with what makes sense, with how you think things should work out for your daughter, for your son, for your family, for your ex, for your projects. Like, yes, have goals, have a divine blueprint that you feel is in honor and truth with your heart, yet let it go. Remember, several readings ago, it was like, yes, okay, fine, make a vision board, fine, but ultimately let go, practice detachment of how you think it needs to show up and be in your life. And that allows the greater force of source, of love, of light, of divine creation that is all-knowing, beyond what we think we know, to come in and to move the pieces of the puzzle of our life in divine ways that serve not only you. It's not about you just getting what you want. It's about you honoring your truth. And through you honoring your truth and serving that within you, you cannot help but be of service in the world. And that's when the ripple effect begins to happen and doors begin to open, synchronicity, flow. You meet the right people, the right circumstances show up, okay? So just be mindful of not getting stuck in the mind this week, right? So also with our receptivity, bath, water, ocean, swimming pool, such a cleansing and a purification and a healing that those waters can bring. So very important to heed that this week as you are guided. The next row is so powerful. Last week we had the Rebel. He's a major arcana card, and he's all about doing things his way. And I'm saying him, but really it's male or female, okay? Whatever you identify as. But it's breaking through the constructs of the way you used to do you, and letting yourself be liberated from the ties that have bound you, accessing the eagle energy. Look up eagle totem, accessing the eagle energy that has the perspective of flight, of seeing the whole picture, not just tunnel vision of just one thing, of a limited source, but to have the ability of not only freedom and liberation, but to have an awareness that is ascendant and that sees and connects from a higher space, from a higher dimensional field, a playing field, okay, through which they draw their energy. The Rebel is a light unto themselves. Yes, they know how to play the rules of life. They know the laws of gravity. They know the laws of the world and the universe. Yet, what they're understanding is that as they learn to honor and play by the laws on the truth of their heart, what happens is they begin to defy the rules of gravity, the rules, the gravity of the grids. They begin to defy the matrix as you've known it. You begin to defy those limiting constructs that you thought were real and true to you. And those chains that once bound you, you see those chains breaking, they're releasing through simply you being you. Yet, so that was our big, like one of the big crescendos last week, is that coming into happening as the cycles of change were shifting, completing, and opening to a new cycle. With that, we have two very powerful cards on this level. The Source, which is God, which is the sun, which is the eternal creator energy that gives life to everything, to everything everywhere, and that's a card of fire. Another card of fire is participation. So speaking of participation first, if you're not participating in your life is not going to show up for you as a thing that you want to be here for, to experience, right? So as you learn to honor your truth more and more, live it and embody it, that's you participating in your truth, participating in your life. And life begins to bring you joyful and exciting circumstances and situations and opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there if you weren't participating as your true authentic self, okay? So draw from Source this week in your meditations. Meditate, meditate, meditate. every day, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 3 hours, whatever turns you on. Connect with Source. Connect with that which is greater than you. Give it to God. So participate by being your true authentic self, having the courage to be the rebel within yourself. Maybe you're coming into being transgender. Maybe you've been in a different body your whole life, from a gender that you identify with. This is the week, this is the time where the planets and everything is aligned, energies are aligned, for you to embody that which is true to you, to participate in whatever that makes sense and is authentic and integral to you, to participate in allowing that to be your truth. That's a card of energy, of doing, of the masculine, of in the world, bringing it down to earth, so you can bridge heaven on earth through your heavenly body, through your vehicle, and be that for yourself. Be the peace. Be the change you wish to see in the world. You're having trouble? You're a little shy, you're a little scared? Connect to Source. Ask for help. You know, in A Course in Miracles, I've been a student, I'm on my 3rd year of being a student in that book and those teachings, and they're so very powerful. And whether you believe in God or whatever name you give Source, there's a teaching that moves through it that basically says always really to give it to Holy Spirit. Whatever it is that you feel confused, or there's a healing you just can't seem to forgive, or someone has betrayed you or done you wrong, or there's a business thing you can't figure out and you're trying to figure it out here on the earth plane and it's frustrating or whatever, if it's not flowing with ease, and if there's a lot of mental things getting in the way and blocking it, give it to Holy Spirit. Give it to someone, something, an entity, a Buddha, whatever is that divine deity or placeholder that represents that. Give it to those angels so that they can take it to Source. They can take it to God. They can take that energy to be transmuted. So it is about, and what's under this card is letting go, which we're going to get to shortly. So whatever your query is this week, whatever your woe is, whatever your limitation or your resistance or your fear is around fully embodying that rebel, now that it's clicked into place since last week, and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm the rebel. You know, it's happening. Here I am. But we get scared. We get a little freaked out. Keep participating in those little ways as much as you can that are authentic to you to embody what that is for you this week. And where you bump into resistance and fear, connect with the higher source. Call on the Holy Spirit. Say, okay, I give you this fear. I've been trying to do my affirmations. I've been trying to let it go, and I just can't. Or this thought, this limiting thought just keeps going through my head. Give it to Holy Spirit to take it. Give it to something that is greater than you, to transmute it, to release it, to take it away. And it's your sheer act of releasing it, of giving it away, that creates a holy instant by which the conditions can change. Okay, so this leads us to letting go, which is so powerful. Look at the little ripple in the lake. A drop of water has already fallen from the leaf, and if you look here, if you can see very closely, there's a little drop of water right at the end where my finger is of the leaf that's already past the point. If there's no way that little drop of water, well, in this dimension anyway, can crawl back up into the cup of the leaf. It's already fallen, and in fact, one ripple or one drop has already fallen and is creating ripples. That signifies you've already gone past a point of no return. A couple weeks ago, we had change, was like a whole big signature in these readings. It's happened, or it's happening this week. You've turned a corner. Completion, change, cycles are changing, recalibrating. There's no going back. There's no going back. Letting go is a card of emotions. Let yourself purify. Let yourself, remember receptivity, be cleansed by those waters. Go to the waters, take a bath, get in the pool, float under the stars, whatever it is for you. Let yourself cry. Let yourself purify. Let yourself be cleansed, but also let yourself trust that you've made the right choices in your life. Maybe there's an ending of a relationship, and maybe you ended the relationship. But even still, it doesn't mean that you don't, if you were in love, it doesn't mean that you're not that you're not going to need time to heal as well. You know, you're still going to need healing in your life. Pardon me one second. I just need to make sure this is still running. Yes. You're going to need healing in your life too. You're going to need a time to grieve, to mourn over that which was and that which wasn't. And whether it's a relationship, a business, or just yours, who you were, and the cycles of change that are coming about and asking you to release those old parts of yourself. It could be shadow. You know, when we release the darkness and we and the cycle is clicked and we look back, we're like, oh my God, that entity or that energy or that program was running my life, was running my mind and my mouth. And sometimes there's like a whoa and an emotional purification. Some tears get to fall as we realize and purify and come into that clear space of our truth now. And that truth now calls, we know this has been a theme, maturity. This is your higher self. The crown, the third eye, the throat chakra, illumined by this bubble of light in the aura. You already are that. This card is a card of grounding, of being, of standing in your true power and authority. And I love her because if we think about the male-female archetypes, the rebel is the masculine, is that energy that busts down the door and it's like, it's time for change and this is how we're going to do it. And then the third dimension does this. And again, the maturity is that female quality of just simply embodying that wisdom, of embodying the higher self, of speaking as the light body and grounding down to earth those qualities. Just like at the beginning, we had intensity and receptivity, balance the male, the female energy. That's what's so important this week. And a huge part of doing that is remaining in the no-thingness, is not thinking. This is a major arcana card, very huge. The mind. This is such a time, you know, because the rebel operates out of time and space, things are not going to make sense in the way that they did before. Because you're changing energetically, metaphysically, galactically, in line with a whole new paradigm of who you are becoming. And you're cleansing, you're letting go of those old programs, of those old triggers, of those shields, of those blockages. You get to be, it's just very freeing. You get to be who you've never been before. You get to be who you've never been before. No thinking and no thingness. Allow yourself to be comfortable in that space, to be an empty vessel, to be receptive to your divine higher self, the guidance of what you consider source energy, to guide you through this time now. Stop figuring it out. Relax, purify, balance the male and the female energies this week. And that will serve you in embodying the fierce rebel, the fierce truth, this new dimension, this new level of warrior within you that is ready to awaken. It is so powerful. I'm so grateful for your time and your attention, for your love, for your light, for your subscribing, and just sharing these messages with me. I really do love facilitating and sharing them. Thank you so much. I wish you so much love and so many blessings. Namaste.